The feeling of unsettled thoughts. You know what I mean. No sleep, restless, the screaming silence of a million questions in your head. What's the purpose of life? Will I ever be enough? Is there a God? Is there life after death? What defines you? Do we have free will? Are eyebrows considered facial hair? And above all, the mother of all questions. Should I still buy Splatoon 2? I will get to that in a moment, but first, let me give you a little history lesson. Splatoon was originally released in 2015. Despite being sold on the Wii U, it was still a big success. It was the 6th best-selling game on the system with nearly 5 million units sold. So it was no surprise that Nintendo released a sequel on the Nintendo Switch in 2017. This game did pretty good as well. It already sold 11.5 million copies. So you might ask yourself, after 3 years, is this game still worth to buy? In my humble opinion, yes, this game is amazing. The main single-player game consists of approximately 12 hours of gameplay. The game contains 5 worlds, with each world having approximately 6 levels and a final boss. To me, the single-player always felt like a very good and entertaining tutorial for the multiplayer mode. And I don't mean that in a bad way. Even though it's not groundbreaking, you will definitely have a good time with it. And if you can't get enough of the single-player experience, there's also a Octo expansion pack. This DLC gives you another 10 plus hours of surprisingly good single-player gameplay. But the multiplayer is where this game really shines. Before I get to Splatoon's main game modes, let me talk briefly about Salmon Run. In this game mode you play together with 3 other players against AI-controlled opponents. When you defeat the mini-bosses during these waves, yellow eggs will appear that you need to collect. Your team will only win if at least one player survives all waves and enough eggs have been collected within the time limit. Yeah, it's a very fun and addicting game mode. What makes this game mode extra fun is that you can win abilities, gear and money and XP boosters that you can use for the main game. But most people will buy Splatoon 2 for the regular battle mode and the ranked battle mode. The regular battle mode is called Turf War, the main mode of Splatoon 2. The goal of this game mode is pretty simple. Your team needs to splatter the most amount of ink on the stage before the 3-minute timer ends. In addition to the regular mode, there are also 4 extra ranked battle modes called Splat Zones, Tower Control, Rainmaker and Clan Blitz. All those extra ranked battle modes are combinations of Capture the Flag and King of the Hill style gameplay. These modes are mainly there to spice it up a bit, but whether you're playing regular mode or ranked mode, the short games you play are addictive, fun and very satisfying. For me, the experience is unlike any other in the shooter genre. You can call me a fanboy, but this is pure Nintendo magic. The graphics are good, the animations are smooth, there's lots of Nintendo humor in it, and also the controls, the way they combined motion controls with stick controls, it's simply perfect. You notice this especially when you play other games that don't have it, then you suddenly notice how clumsy and slow those controls are. As a PC gamer, I think Splatoon 2 is the only console shooter where I don't miss my keyboard and mouse. The replay value is also very high. You can unlock and test many different weapons like brushes, rollers, buckets, blasters and many more. And on top of that you can buy many types of clothing. And all those clothing parts you can provide with extra abilities to create your perfect Inkling or Octoling. The game was already very good at launch, and with the many updates over the years, the game has become even more complete and balanced, which makes this game almost perfect. What keeps this game from being perfect is the online service. Compared to other games, it just happens a little too often that teams are incomplete, and I think there are many fixes that they could have done to minimize this. This also includes the lack of communication options. Many games and game modes go unnecessarily uncoordinated because it is impossible to communicate properly. All this together, I guess it's a bit disappointing, because nowadays we also have to pay for this service. A service that is just not yet at the level you would expect nowadays. The overall online experience is still very good, but I think it's fair to mention these points. A good thing to know is that the game is still being played by many people, so you don't have to worry about the player base. So the only reasons not to buy this game would probably be 1. You are fed up with Splatoon 1, and with Splatoon 2 you expect a complete makeover. In this case you could be disappointed, because Splatoon 2 really feels like a refined and nearly perfected version of Splatoon 1, with some extra game modes and many improvements. The second reason is probably the pricing. It's an old game and you're still paying the full price for it, so yeah, that could be a thing. The last reason that I can think of is about the in-game Splatfest events. Maybe you've heard about it and you really want to participate. In this case, I have to disappoint you. These almost monthly events have officially ended. During these events you had to choose between 2 teams, such as cats and dogs, ketchup and mayonnaise, and with your team you had basically a weekend to beat the other team for some nice rewards and of course honor. You get the picture. It was quite fun actually. As far as I know, we will only have a special event in January next year to celebrate Mario's 35th birthday. You can then choose between the Super Mushroom or the Superstar. And if these reasons don't bother you at all, I think you probably should buy the game. You will have an amazing time with it. And if you're still not sure, just go to my channel. I've uploaded 2 videos with some random gameplay. Maybe those videos will convince you. Give the video a like if you found it helpful, and if you like this kind of Nintendo content, don't forget to subscribe. I need you to love me. I'm also curious what you think about the game. What do you like? What do you dislike? Tell me in the comments below. Have a good one and stay fresh. Bye bye. How do you handcuff a one-armed man? Do I really have a big nose? Do animals feel love? Why are you? What could be the coolest animal to scale up to the size of a horse? Whatever. Let's play some Splatoon 2, I guess.